We've collected data, we've now processed and marked this data. We've created a template to return the data along with some feedback to students. Let's look at how we can actually return that feedback along with scores to students. We're going to use an add-on for Google Sheets called AutoCrat. AutoCrat is not part of the Google Apps or G Suite package. It's an add-on made by a third party, this New Visions for Public Schools. You're going to need to add it to your account. All right, we'll go through how to do that. Okay, so find the add-ons menu up in the menu bar at the top of the screen. And if it's already there, you can just open it. If it's not, you're going to search for it and you're going to add it on. Right. It's important to note that at this point I don't believe students can use add-ons, but staff should be able to. Okay, so now I've enabled AutoCrat in this sheet, so I'm going to launch it. It's basically like a giant mail merge. So I'm going to create a new merge job. I'm going to call it whatever, AST data return. All right. Now I'm going to select a template that I want to use, and this is why I've already gone and created this template. So you'll see it'll pull it in just a sec. So now what AutoCrat's going to do is going to go find all of those smart tags that we created. And it's going to map to the different columns. So remember back in the Sheets video where I said I wanted to make sure the columns had 1s, 2s, and 3s after them. If the headers were the same, AutoCrat can't sort out which column is which. So for example, if I want to take the student's name, it's at name, and I go find the student 1, and after that, if I want to go take what the student recorded for their radius to be, I'll go find the smart tag where I had S radius. Then I'm going to go find, well, the student's original response came in radius with a 1 after it. So I'll select that. Then as I work through this, I'm going to say, remember, what do we have to do? We had to calculate the circumference. So here's the student's response. Here's my correct calculated response. Right? And I'm going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between the student's response and my response. Now, I could also include the scoring as I go. So I could say go get the mark from the third set of columns that we created. But I don't need to. So once I've mapped everything, I'm going to say, all right, now let's generate the response files. I'm going to create a new Google Doc for each person that responds to the form. All right, so I'm going to hit next and next. Now, share documents and send emails. Yes, I'm going to do that. You can select whether you want the doc to be editable or just viewable or commentable. And now this is where we set up the return. So AutoCrat actually has some smart tags built into it. It says in the literature that you should be able to just drag that email address smart tag over. It never seems to work for me, so I just type it in, email address, and this goes and gets the email address that we told Forms to collect way back at the very beginning. Type in a subject line for the email. I type a little email message. Thank you for participating today. Hey, and I say thanks. So run the form on a trigger. This would be every time somebody hits submit on the form, Sheets will do the marking, and then this should auto return the responses. Now, it doesn't always work, so I've been told. So you may want to set every hour. Quite often, I actually just run the whole thing manually instead. I'm just trying to highlight some of these other options. All right. If you know you're going to be getting lots of data frequently, maybe you want to set it just as a backup to run the merge every hour or so. Again, that's up to you. All right, so the trigger information is there. Now I'm going to manually run this return just so you can see what it looks like. This can take quite a while sometimes if you have multiple classes, but you can walk away from it and it'll do all the work for you at this point. So that return has happened. You'll see some new columns have been generated with some hyperlinks in them. It'll give you a status report saying it completed it and sent the email to the respondent. So this was my son's account that we did the answers from. and you can see it says hello Max LeBlanc, his name as he entered it. He's got all of the data that we entered for him, and his calculations, my correct answers. Alright, you can see again why I wanted to create a separate folder within my Google Drive for this one, because every time it creates a response for a student, it creates a new Google Doc and it has to save it somewhere. So if you have 2 classes, you can see right away that you're going to have 60 response docs created, so it's best practice just to keep them organized. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and good luck.